in the movie. I was on IG scrolling and I saw Bobby Portis clapping the back at Norman Powell. So I'm like, hold up, what's going on? So now we gotta talk about bully ball buckets. Did the Miami Heat make the right choice when they picked up Giannis and then they also acquired Bobby Portis? They didn't move on from Nikola Jovic, and they left him with no money to re-sign a Norman Powell, a guy, in my opinion, who was y'all go-to bucket getter last year. We know Bam dropped the 83 points and all that good stuff. We know that, but on a night-to-night basis, Norman Powell was that guy for this team, in my opinion. When you watch, he's instant offense. He doesn't waste too many dribbles. He's a solid defender as well. And this team went the opposite direction. They did not extend an offer to Norman Powell. Norman Powell ended up signing a 2-year, $45 million deal with the Chicago Bulls. That's like $24.5 million. I mean, $22.5 million a year, which Bobby Portis is currently making. It's crazy because if they just made a couple moves, Bobby Portis is making $14 million, and then he's making about $15 million, which is followed with a player year. The player I thought they should have moved on from, maybe they couldn't find nobody to take him, but Nikola Jovic, he's 23 years old. He's a young guy, but he hasn't really shown a lot, in my opinion. Like, he hasn't shown me he's a really good shooter. He hasn't shown me he can rebound great. Like, he's not really good at nothing. He's just a good player, in my opinion. Like, he can do a little bit of everything. He's versatile, but he doesn't do nothing very, very well for me to be like, I'm not moving on from him so I can keep my bucket getter in Norman Powell. I think this is going to bite them in the butt, really. You roll out there with Davion Mitchell, Andrew Wiggins, Bam, Giannis, and you probably start Tim Hardaway maybe, or Pele or somebody. That's not enough. You feel me? When the going gets rough and it's time to get a bucket at the end of the day, do they have a guy that can do that? Yeah, you got Giannis. Yeah, you got Bam. But I watched Giannis last year when he played with the Bucks. I was not impressed. Yeah, he averages normal points, but it felt like empty calories. Like, teams know you're gonna do yours, bro. It's like we can strap everybody else around you, and then when the going gets rough at the end of the game, we build that wall on you and make you hit jumpers. And you still haven't really got good at hitting jumpers yet. So I think them not making moves for Norman Powell is going to hurt them, man. Norman Powell is a certified bucket. And then when you have guys like Giannis and Bam out there with a Norman Powell, it makes it even better. We're going to see how this offseason has treated some players. I'm a fan of Davion Mitchell. He plays both ends. He can score the ball. He can shoot the three. He can pass. He's a pretty good point guard, in my opinion. Bam Adebayo, you have to show me something this year, my boy, because it might come down to you having to get some late game buckets. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have Tyler Hero out there jacking threes. You know what I'm saying? You still got Wiggins who's gonna get his shots up. He's gonna shoot his threes, but we're gonna see if you develop your offensive game, because you see that you have a game, but you're not aggressive enough on a night-to-night basis, shooting that midi or even attacking the basket, because you're faster than most big men out there, but you don't use your speed to your advantage at times. You can kind of fade away on the offensive end. So this year, they're going to need you to put up 20-plus a night. Yeah, you have to put some buckets up, my boy. So what Giannis on your side, it's going to be real interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully, your three balls gotten a lot better, because you're going to have open opportunities playing with Giannis, my boy. But I do think they kind of dropped the ball on this one. They could have, find somebody to take Jovic. Maybe, if you're going to get Bobby Portis, I'm not mad if you are able to move around other pieces and retain a Norman Powell. I do not think this team is a high contender. Anything can happen, of course, but I don't think they have all the necessary pieces to truly contend. Because Giannis is really good, but he's not that good to carry a team in the way I think he's going to have to carry this team, especially in the playoffs. So, bully ball or buckets. Looks like the Heat won in bully ball. So the Chicago Bulls, they went and picked up the buckets. So let me just let y'all know how the interaction went between these two. It was quite funny in my opinion. Because I don't think, you know, I don't feel like Norman Powell was taking a shot at Bobby Portis. I just thought he was truly speaking his mind. And he was speaking facts. So he was speaking with a newspaper from, well, speaking with a place, not a place, but speaking with some people from the fadeaway world. So I guess they're a sports outlet. And they was asking him, you know, did you expect to get re-signed from the Miami Heat? Norman Powell said, honestly, I thought I would be back to Miami throughout the course of the year. We knew they wanted to get Giannis. We heard some rumblings that Norman and Giannis sound really good. So I thought that was the play. So then he said that he felt like when it was time to make, he said, but it seemed like they were like, if you want Giannis, you have to take Bobby Portis. And I think that played a part with the CBA rules and the hard cap with sending money out and receiving money. That put a tough swing on things in my eyes, but I could be totally wrong. That's what Norman Powell said. Bobby Portis goes on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he goes, yo, Norm, I always respected your game. He tagged him. Just let y'all know. He ain't sneak dissing. From a distance. We in the same draft. Shout out to 2015. I remember that draft class. Only about 9 of us left, but keep my name out your mouth, brother. I ain't no throw-in piece from champ to champ, respectfully, King. Be blessed, brother. Bobby Portis, you are, bro. Like, you are a throw-in piece, bro. I'm sorry. And there's no shame in that. You feel what I'm saying? If your man Giannis saying, you know, I ain't going over there unless y'all get my boy because I'm trying to bump with him. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that. You feel what I'm saying? You're not a superstar, nothing like that. Trust me, I'm picking up Norman Powell over you. That's me, personally. If I was in Miami, I'm like, listen, Giannis, let me sit you down. Listen, bro. I know that's your boy. But no, he get them buckets. And we need some buckets sometimes. So we might gotta, you know what I'm saying, let your boy stay in Milwaukee so we can get this, re-sign these buckets back. Or you know what? All right, listen, Jovic, we gotta bring in Bobby. He about to take your minutes. We gotta bring Norman back. They should have did what they had to do to bring Norman back. But Bobby Portis, don't get all upset, man. He ain't trying to dish you or nothing. He just really speaking facts, bro. You were a throwing piece for Giannis. No shame in the game, dog. It sounded like he was mad. I could see him typing, his eyes all big. All right. That's NBA for y'all today, man. You know, talked about the opening day schedule. It's going to be packed with action, in my opinion. I think we got some really good matchups to watch on the first day. And it starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're a person that likes to watch basketball early in the day, or you got a spot that's not that crowded early in the day, this is your time to shine. We got about, 2 more months, so we're almost there. All right.